All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a genuinely terrifying sequence of events that unfolded late one night at an engineering college. We're talking about the outbreak at the Indian Institute of Innovation. Let's get right into it.
So, picture this for a second. It's 1 a.m. If you've ever walked down an empty engineering hostel corridor in the absolute dead of night, you know exactly that eerie feeling I'm talking about, right? The setting is just perfectly mundane, but kind of deeply unsettling. You've got those flickering white tube lights, the faint glow slipping from beneath closed doors, maybe the quiet hum of someone coding or pulling an all-nighter for an assignment. But in room 107, our protagonist, a fourth-year student named Ravi, is wide awake. He's sitting all alone in the glow of his laptop, surrounded by just an absolute mountain of coffee mugs and a whiteboard completely covered in formulas. He is anxiously, desperately studying for a crucial placement interview with Hypotenuse Technologies. He already missed out on a previous selection, so the pressure is literally immense. And outside his window, there is nothing but absolute darkness and a terrifying, dead silence. You know, the exact kind of quiet that always precedes a major storm.
Okay, so slowly, the tension really starts to escalate. Out of nowhere, that heavy silence is just shattered by a loud thud out in the corridor. At first, Ravi totally ignores it. I mean, it's a college hostel. Weird noises at night are pretty much par for the course. He figures it's just someone shuffling to the bathroom. But then, the sound actually changes. He hears this low, guttural growl, and it's not a human sound at all. It's this chilling, animal-like growl. So Ravi creeps over to his door, peeks out, and the corridor is completely empty under that one flickering tube light. But his eyes catch something on the floor. It's a thin, dark line leading straight from the common bathroom, right past his door. And as he stares closer, the horror just sets in. It's not spilled water or coffee. It is a thick trail of dark red blood. And right then, a piercing scream echoes from the common bathroom. Gathering whatever tiny ounce of courage he has left, Ravi follows that blood trail to the bathroom. And honestly, absolutely nothing could have prepared him for what he finds. The attacker isn't some unknown monster or an intruder. It's his friend. It's Virat, the guy he literally plays cricket with. But this isn't the friendly buddy he knows. Virat's face is entirely soaked in blood, and he is violently biting into the neck of a first-year student named Amit. When Ravi instinctively steps forward, trying to help Amit, Virat snaps his head up, growls like a wild beast, and actually begins to lurch toward Ravi with this bizarre, totally unnatural walk. The friendly cricket buddy is just gone, replaced by a bloodthirsty predator. So Ravi absolutely panics. His heart is pounding straight out of his chest. He sprints back to room 107, slams the door, and locks it as tight as he can from the inside. He grabs his phone, and the screen just lights up with pure, unadulterated chaos. We're talking over 500 unread messages in the main hostel group chat. One message practically screams off the screen saying, "Bro, lock your room. People in the college have gone mad. They are literally biting each other." Message after frantic message is just warning everyone, do not open your doors. The entire campus is rapidly descending into absolute madness.
Reading through these totally panic-stricken texts, Ravi uncovers the absurd but utterly terrifying origin of this whole outbreak. Get this, it was a pre-placement serum. Yeah, earlier that evening there was a pre-placement party. The college toppers, totally thinking they were just being handed a harmless welcome drink, accidentally consumed this mysterious experimental liquid, and instead of giving them some sort of competitive edge for their interviews, it mutated them into violent, highly contagious attackers. And now, they are actively hunting down the rest of the student body, biting them and turning them into monsters too. Talk about a highly competitive college environment, right?
Well, just as Ravi is trying to process this impossible reality, boom, the power to the entire hostel completely shuts off. The network signal on his phone instantly drops to zero. His room is plunged into pitch black, lit only by that faint, eerie blue glow of his laptop and his mobile screen. And then, suddenly, a dark shadow creeps under the gap of his door. Someone is standing right outside. Then, back, back, back. 3 slow, incredibly deliberate knocks. Ravi, with his voice totally trembling, asks who it is. No answer. The knocks come again, but harder this time, like whoever is out there is really losing their patience. Ravi backs away in pure terror, turns on his phone flashlight, and then the door handle begins to slowly turn. Left, right, left, right. And before he knows it, it starts shaking violently as the monster outside tries to physically force its way in.
The heavy wooden door is just shuddering from the impact. Once, twice, The wood actually starts to crack under this immense, unnatural force. And then, nothing. Dead silence. 5 seconds pass. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. Just no movement, no knocks, nothing. Ravi slowly, incredibly cautiously, steps toward the door, desperately hoping that maybe the infected student just gave up and wandered away. But literally, the very next second, a massive blow strikes the door. It completely shatters into pieces, crashing violently to the floor, and standing there in the ruined doorway, panting heavily and growling in the blue light, is a completely savage, enraged Virat.
Virat lunges forward, stepping right into the room. Ravi is paralyzed. He honestly thinks this is it. This is the very last day of his life. But then, pure survival instinct kicks in. In a massive adrenaline-fueled panic, he grabs the nearest heavy object, his study chair, and just absolutely smashes it directly over Virat's head. Stunned, the monster stumbles back, and Ravi uses that one split-second opportunity to shove his former friend forcefully out of the way, bursting out of room 107 and sprinting desperately down that pitch-dark corridor.
He actually makes it out of the hostel block, hiding in the shadows, trying to somehow make his way to the campus main gates. But as he nears the exit, he stops dead in his tracks. The sheer scale of this nightmare finally becomes clear. Over 100 infected students are blocking the gates. Over 100! They're just stumbling around in this massive horde. Their clothes are torn, their bodies are covered in bite marks and blood, and honestly, the worst part? Their eyes are glowing with this dead, terrifying white light. And the exact moment Ravi steps out, they all turn. They all start lurching directly toward him.
Completely cut off from the exit, Ravi turns and runs into literally the only large building nearby, the college library. He ducks inside and immediately throws himself behind a massive bookshelf, his whole body just shaking with absolute terror. For a brief second, it feels like a quiet sanctuary. But then, the horde starts filtering into the library. Ravi holds his breath, pressing himself as flat against the wood as humanly possible. Slowly, excruciatingly slowly, the infected students actually begin to wander back out, seemingly losing his scent. Ravi exhales. He thinks he's safe. He genuinely thinks he survived the night.
But then, a single drop of blood falls from above, landing squarely on Ravi's face. He slowly, terrifyingly looks up, and crouched on top of the library bookshelf, staring directly down at him, is Virat. Before Ravi can even manage to scream, Virat drops down, pouncing onto him. The noise instantly draws the rest of the infected horde right back into the library, and they completely swarm him. Ravi's desperate screams just echo through the massive room until everything fades to black. And when Ravi finally opens his eyes again, they are a glowing dead white. He's become one of them.
So, the Indian Institute of Innovation has officially fallen. It is now the Indian Institute of Zombies. The horde has completely taken over the campus, which really begs the question, who will stop this terrifying zombie attack? What on earth happens to the uninfected students left hiding in their rooms? Honestly, how does anyone survive this?
And that brings us to the ultimate bait and switch, the IS movie announcement.
Yeah, you heard me right. This entire terrifying, heart-pounding, claustrophobic story we just walked through, it is an absolute masterclass in marketing. This isn't just some spooky internet horror story. It is the official promotional setup for a brand new, highly anticipated movie called IIZ Indian Institute of Zombies. And the absolute best part? It's not just pure horror. It is a horror comedy. The movie takes that totally horrifying premise of college toppers drinking a zombie serum and flips it completely on its head to show the absolutely hilarious, absurd things engineering students do to survive the apocalypse. The real reason you need to be paying attention is the talent behind the script. It's written by the massively successful creators of hit shows like Dindora, Taza Kabar, and Farzi, so you know for a fact the humor, the wit, and the sheer fun are going to be completely off the charts. It promises genuine scares perfectly balanced with massive laughs, and it is hitting theaters soon on May 15th.
So we've gone from a terrifying night trapped in room 107 to the brilliant reveal of one of the most exciting upcoming theater releases. It is such a fantastic reminder of how a really great narrative hook can capture our attention and pull us right into a whole new world. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Will you be buying a ticket on May 15th to see how these engineers survive the funniest apocalypse ever? Because honestly, after a setup like that, I really don't know how anyone could resist finding out what happens next. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep your doors locked.